then the mangled Mercedes as he drove into the Pont de Alma tunnel that August night in 1997. He arrived just seconds after the crash and counted 4 victims. Only one man and a woman were still alive.
Princess Diana's tragic death in 1997 remains one of the most shocking and debated events in modern history. As the world grappled with grief, the circumstances surrounding her passing sparked a whirlwind of conspiracy theories and questions that have lingered for decades. But in the years since, one crucial voice remains silent, until now. For the first time ever, Princess Diana's surgeon has broken his silence, revealing startling new details about the night she was rushed to the hospital, fighting for her life. What he's disclosed sheds light on the truth behind the emergency medical procedures that took place in those frantic moments and what went terribly wrong. Was Diana's survival truly an impossibility? Or were critical decisions made that could have saved her? As the surgeon speaks out, the revelations may change everything we thought we knew about that fateful night, and they're far more shocking than anyone could have imagined. In this video, we unravel the devastating truth behind the medical response to Diana's accident, as the man who was at the center of her final moments comes forward with revelations that could leave you questioning everything. What the surgeon who tried to save Princess Diana's life revealed. After years of silence, Dr. Moncef, the surgeon who valiantly tried to save Princess Diana on the night of her tragic death, has finally shared his harrowing account of that fateful event. In a recent interview with the Daily Mail, Dr. Moncef opened up about the challenges he and his team faced, and the extraordinary measures they took in their attempt to save the beloved Princess of Wales. He began by recounting how the night started like any other in the emergency department, with nothing out of the ordinary. That changed dramatically when Diana was brought in around 2 a.m. following a catastrophic car crash in Paris's Pont de l'Alma tunnel. The princess arrived in critical condition, already having suffered a cardiac arrest. Paramedics on the scene had worked tirelessly to stabilize her just enough to transport her to the hospital alive. Upon Diana's arrival, Dr. Moncef and his team immediately sprang into action, performing X-rays to assess the extent of her injuries. The results painted a grim picture. Diana was suffering from severe internal bleeding, and among the most alarming injuries was a significant tear in her left pulmonary vein, a crucial blood vessel that carries oxygen-rich blood from the lungs to the heart. This type of injury, as Dr. Moncef explained, is exceedingly rare and almost always fatal. So, what happened next? Keep watching to know. Realizing the gravity of the situation, the medical team initiated a thoracotomy, an emergency procedure that involves opening the chest cavity to access the heart and lungs. During this delicate operation, another critical injury was discovered. A tear in the pericardium, the protective sac surrounding the heart. This complication exacerbated Diana's already dire condition, as blood rapidly filled her chest cavity, placing immense pressure on her heart and severely impairing its ability to function. Recognizing the complexity of the case, Dr. Moncef made the decision to call for reinforcements. By 2:30 a.m., Professor Alain Pavie, a distinguished French cardiothoracic surgeon, was summoned to the hospital. With Professor Pavie's arrival, the team's efforts to save Diana reached a new level of intensity. Professor Pavie meticulously took charge, attempting to repair the torn pulmonary vein, a task that required both skill and precision. The atmosphere in the operating room was unbearably tense, Dr. Moncef recalled. We knew every second mattered, and we were fighting an uphill battle against catastrophic injuries. The surgical team worked with unwavering focus, employing every tool and technique at their disposal to stabilize Diana. Despite their best efforts, the princess's condition deteriorated rapidly. The team's most significant obstacle was Diana's heart, which had stopped as a result of the massive blood loss and trauma. Manual cardiac massage, a hands-on effort to restart the heart, was performed, and defibrillation was attempted multiple times. Each electric shock, which is usually effective in restoring a normal heart rhythm, failed to yield results. But that's not all. Dr. Moncef described the scene as desperate and heart-wrenching. We gave it everything we had. Every method known to us was employed to restart her heart, but her injuries were simply too severe. Despite the extraordinary efforts of both Dr. Moncef and Professor Pavie, Diana's injuries proved insurmountable. At 4 a.m., the medical team made the devastating announcement that Princess Diana had passed away. Reflecting on the events of that night, Dr. Monsef called the experience the most harrowing of his career. For over 2 decades, he refrained from speaking publicly about the tragedy, carrying the weight of that night in silence. However, in his recent interview, he revealed that he felt it was time to share his story, not just as a tribute to Diana, but to shed light on the extraordinary efforts made to save her life. His account provides a vivid and somber insight into the final moments of the People's Princess. Hearing Dr. Monsef's account forces us to trace it back to the accident that resulted in the irreparable damage on Diana. The tragic accident that took the life of the People's Princess. The night of August 30th, 1997, was like any other for Princess Diana and her companion, Dodi Fayed, as they enjoyed the luxurious ambiance of the Hôtel Ritz Paris. Earlier that day, the couple had stepped off a private jet at Le Bourget Airport, intending to make a brief stop in Paris before heading back to London. Wrapped in the elegance of the Ritz, a hotel owned by Dodi's father, Mohammed Al Fayed, they were unaware that their love story was about to end in heartbreak, cementing its place in history as one of the most tragic tales of modern times. The Hotel Ritz was more than just a temporary haven. It was strategically chosen for its proximity to Mohammed Al Fayed's apartment on Rue Arsène Housset. However, the glamour of their evening was quickly overshadowed by the ever-present paparazzi and hordes of admirers stationed outside, eager to catch a glimpse of the People's Princess. Recognizing the mounting chaos, Diana and Dodi opted for discretion, hatching a plan to avoid the relentless cameras. What was this plan, and was it what led to the accident? Let's find out. At approximately 12:20 a.m., a decoy vehicle left the Ritz's main entrance, drawing the paparazzi away. Meanwhile, Diana and Dodi slipped out through a back door on Rue Cambon and into a black 1994 Mercedes-Benz S280. At the wheel was Henri Paul, the hotel's deputy head of security, while their trusted bodyguard, Trevor Rees-Jones, occupied the front passenger seat. Tragically, none of the occupants wore seatbelts, a seemingly small detail that would later prove fatal. The car sped through the Parisian streets, navigating the Place de la Concorde and cruising along the River Seine in an attempt to evade the paparazzi. However, the calm night quickly spiraled into chaos. As the vehicle approached the Pont de l'Alma underpass at a dangerous speed of more than 65 meters per second, over twice the legal limit, Henri Paul lost control. Eyewitness reports later revealed that a mysterious white Fiat Uno may have played a role in the accident, either by cutting off the Mercedes or forcing Paul to swerve. What followed was catastrophic. The car collided head-on with the 13th pillar of the tunnel, spinning violently before slamming into the tunnel wall. The impact left the vehicle a mangled wreck, unrecognizable from its once sleek form. That's not all. Keep watching. Firefighters and paramedics arrived swiftly, finding Diana and Dodi slumped amid the wreckage. The chaos was overwhelming, with flashing cameras adding to the already frantic scene. Firefighter Xavier Gourmelin, one of the first responders, later recounted how Diana was still alive when they reached her. "My God, what's happened?" she murmured, her voice faint but filled with confusion. Gourmelin, unaware of her identity at the time, worked tirelessly to stabilize her as his team attempted to extract her from the crumpled car. Inside the vehicle, Trevor Rees-Jones was the only survivor, albeit critically injured. Henri Paul and Dodi Fayed were declared dead at the scene. Diana, clinging to life, was rushed to Pitié-Salpêtrière Hospital, where a team of specialists battled desperately to save her. Investigations that followed revealed a grim picture. Henri Paul's blood alcohol level was 3 times the legal limit, and he had also been taking prescription medications that likely impaired his judgment. Witnesses described his erratic behavior that night, including boasting to photographers and provoking the paparazzi in what appeared to be a reckless game. Stéphane Darmon, a motorcyclist working for a photographer, later testified about Paul's bizarre actions, stating, "He was driving as if he was showing off." The media frenzy only added to the chaos. Paparazzi on motorbikes and in cars pursued the Mercedes relentlessly, their flashing cameras creating a disorienting environment for the already impaired Paul. As Darman described, the photographers were circling the car like vultures, desperate for a picture. The tragic crash that claimed Diana's life was not just a result of Paul's intoxication or the paparazzi's pursuit. It was a convergence of unfortunate events. The decision to forego seatbelts, the reckless driving, and the unrelenting media pressure all contributed to the disaster. By the early hours of August 31st, 1997, the world awoke to the devastating news. Diana, Princess of Wales, had succumbed to her injuries. The tragic death of Princess Diana on that fateful night in Paris gave rise to a torrent of conspiracy theories. What were people saying, and what were the facts backing their statements? Were they also correct? You will get your answer in the next section, so keep watching to find out. Posthumous conspiracy theories and the investigation that followed. The tragic death of Princess Diana on that fateful night in Paris gave rise to a torrent of conspiracy theories, each weaving a complex web of suspicion and intrigue. Central to many of these theories is Mohammed Al-Fayed, the father of Dodi Al-Fayed, who tragically died alongside Diana in the crash. Al-Fayed has been a vocal proponent of the belief that their deaths were not accidental, but the result of a deliberate and coordinated plot orchestrated by British forces. Mohammed Al-Fayed firmly believes that the British royal family, along with certain state actors, conspired to murder Princess Diana and his son, Dodi Al-Fayed. According to Al-Fayed, the couple's relationship posed a significant threat to the traditional values and perceived purity of the British monarchy. He argues that Diana's intention to marry a Muslim Egyptian was unacceptable to the establishment, leading to a covert operation aimed at eliminating both Diana and Dodi to preserve the monarchy's image. Al-Fayed's assertions have been a driving force behind many of the conspiracy theories surrounding Diana's death. He has persistently maintained that the official account of the accident is incomplete and has suggested that powerful entities had the motive and means to orchestrate such a tragedy. The British authorities had to act swiftly. Keep watching to know what they did. The swirl of conspiracy theories surrounding Princess Diana's death demanded a thorough and transparent investigation. With public trust in the official narrative waning and Mohammed Al-Fayed persistently pushing allegations of foul play, the British authorities recognized the need for a formal inquiry. This led to the launch of Operation Paget in 2004, a meticulous investigation spearheaded by Lord John Stevens and the British Metropolitan Police. Its primary goal was to address the myriad of claims and theories that had kept the tragic accident shrouded in doubt. Operation Paget sought to provide clarity and closure. The inquiry was designed with two main objectives: to dissect the circumstances of the crash and to critically evaluate the medical response Diana received. Central to the operation was a comprehensive review of allegations, suggesting the crash was not an accident, but a calculated act involving the royal family and British Secret Services. So, what did they find out? Keep watching to know more. The investigation was extensive, involving interviews with over 300 witnesses, consultations with specialists across various fields, and a forensic analysis of physical evidence. A significant portion of the inquiry focused on the medical treatment Diana received after the crash. Conspiracy theorists had alleged that delays in transporting her to the hospital were deliberate, aimed at ensuring her death. Operation Paget's findings, however, painted a different picture. French emergency protocols, known as the stay and play approach, prioritize stabilizing patients at the scene of an accident before transferring them to a medical facility. The investigation revealed that this method was followed diligently by the French medical team, given the severity of Diana's injuries. Dr. Monsef Daman, the lead physician at Pitié-Salpêtrière Hospital, strongly denied accusations of malpractice or complicity in any conspiracy. He spoke about the immense pressure he and his team faced while treating such a high-profile patient and emphasized their unwavering commitment to saving her life. Dr. Daman described the emotional toll the tragedy took on him, asserting that the conspiracy theories not only misrepresented the truth, but also disrespected the sincere efforts of the medical professionals involved. Operation Paget's findings supported his claims, concluding that Diana's death was due to the catastrophic injuries sustained during the crash, not a result of any medical wrongdoing. The inquiry also explored the role of the paparazzi and their relentless pursuit of Diana's vehicle, which many believed contributed significantly to the fatal crash. Operation Paget's forensic analysis confirmed that Henri Paul, the driver, was under the influence of alcohol and prescription medications, impairing his ability to navigate the high-speed chase through Paris. His gross negligence, combined with the reckless behavior of the pursuing photographers, was identified as the primary cause of the accident. The investigation scrutinized the intense media culture that had plagued Diana throughout her life. The actions of the paparazzi on the night of her death, as well as their long-standing intrusion into her personal life, were deemed pivotal in creating the circumstances that led to the tragedy. In 2007, after 3 years of exhaustive investigation, Operation Paget ended in the release of an 832-page report. The document sought to address every conspiracy theory with factual evidence, providing a transparent account of the events surrounding Diana's death. It unequivocally concluded that the crash was a tragic accident caused by a combination of Henri Paul's intoxication and the reckless pursuit by paparazzi. The report debunked numerous conspiracy theories, including claims of MI6 involvement and deliberate delays in medical treatment. It also clarified that Diana was not pregnant and that she had not announced plans to marry Dodi Al Fayed, dismantling one of the central pillars of Al Fayed's assertions. In 2008, a coroner's inquest further validated Operation Paget's findings, ruling the deaths of Diana and Dodi as unlawful killings caused by the negligent driving of Henri Paul and the paparazzi's relentless chase. The inquest also highlighted that Diana's failure to wear a seatbelt significantly contributed to the severity of her injuries. Operation Paget served as a landmark investigation, aiming to restore public trust and provide closure to one of the most controversial events in modern history. While it dispelled many of the conspiracy theories, doubts and suspicions linger among some sections of the public, fueled by the enduring fascination with Princess Diana's life and legacy. Beyond the crash, Princess Diana's funeral also resulted in more accusations on the royal family. Why was this? Keep watching to know. Princess Diana's controversial funeral. The tragic death of Princess Diana in a Paris car crash sent shockwaves across the globe, and in its aftermath, the royal family found itself facing intense scrutiny and criticism. As public mourning intensified, the family's response was closely examined, and many felt that their reaction was too detached and cold. When news of Diana's fatal accident reached Queen Elizabeth II, she was at Balmoral Castle with Prince Philip and her grandsons, Prince William and Prince Harry. The Queen, seeking to protect her young grandsons from the overwhelming media frenzy, chose to keep them away from the public eye. While this decision was perhaps driven by a grandmother's instinct to shield her family, it was also seen by many as an inappropriate response to the nation's collective grief. Her reluctance to immediately acknowledge the tragedy created a sense of distance between the royal family and the public, which led to widespread criticism. There is more. In stark contrast to the royal family's private mourning, Diana's former husband, Prince Charles, had the solemn responsibility of informing their sons, who were just 15 and 12 years old at the time. While royal duties are often placed above personal emotions, Charles's role as a father comforting his grieving children humanized the family in a way that resonated with the public. It was a poignant reminder that, despite their royal titles, they were a family experiencing profound loss. As news of Diana's death spread, an outpouring of grief from the public was seen in the sea of flowers and tributes that gathered outside Kensington Palace. The royal family's initial silence stood in sharp contrast to this outpouring of emotion. It wasn't until 5 days later, when the Queen returned to London from Balmoral, that she addressed the nation in a televised speech. In this address, she expressed her sorrow, calling Diana a remarkable woman who had earned respect and admiration for her charity work and compassion. Her words, though sincere, were viewed by many as delayed and insufficient in comparison to the overwhelming public grief. The Queen stated, "I admired and respected her for her energy and commitment to others. I hope that tomorrow we can all, wherever we are, join in expressing our grief at Diana's loss and gratitude for her all-too-short life." A significant point of contention during this period was the question of whether Diana should be given a public funeral. The tension arose from her status as the people's princess, juxtaposed against her estrangement from the royal family. Ultimately, a decision was made to hold a public ceremony, honoring the deep connection Diana had cultivated with the people of Britain. On September 6, 1997, Diana's funeral took place at Westminster Abbey, blending royal tradition with public sentiment. The funeral service was attended by dignitaries from around the world, including U.S. First Lady Hillary Clinton, and a host of celebrities, most notably Elton John. The iconic singer performed an emotionally charged version of "Candle in the Wind," which he had rewritten in Diana's honor. The music added to the emotional atmosphere of the day, reinforcing the sense of loss felt not just in Britain, but across the world. One of the most striking moments of the funeral came during the eulogy delivered by Diana's brother, Earl Spencer. His words, though respectful of Diana's memory, were also sharply critical of the media and the royal family's treatment of her during her life. His speech, which included pointed comments about the press's harassment of Diana, was met with applause from the mourners, a rare display of emotion at a royal funeral. This break from the customary reverence highlighted the complex relationship between Diana and the institution she had once been part of, and it signified a public acknowledgement of the injustices she had endured. After the funeral, Diana was laid to rest in a private ceremony at Althorpe, her family's estate. Her final resting place was an island in the estate's tranquil pleasure garden, a secluded spot that symbolized her separation from the royal family, while also reflecting her deep connection to her ancestral roots. Her burial in such a personal and peaceful location provided a final statement about Diana's life and legacy, marking her place not just in the history of the British royal family, but also in the hearts of millions of people around the world. Princess Diana's legacy. Princess Diana's influence did not end with her funeral. Her legacy continued through the Diana, Princess of Wales Memorial Fund, established to carry forward her humanitarian efforts. The fund supported causes she championed during her life, such as palliative care, prison reform, and asylum support. While the fund no longer actively solicits donations, any new contributions now go toward initiatives supported by her sons, ensuring that her charitable spirit lives on. In 2007, to mark the 10th anniversary of Diana's death, her sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, organized a special concert in her honor. Held on what would have been her 46th birthday, the event celebrated her memory while also raising funds for the causes she was passionate about. The concert not only reflected Diana's enduring legacy of compassion, but also signaled her son's commitment to carrying on her work. The proceeds went directly to organizations that Diana had supported, ensuring that her humanitarian efforts continued through their efforts. Diana's legacy also lives on through her grandchildren. In 2015, Prince William and his wife Catherine welcomed Princess Charlotte Elizabeth Diana into the world, ensuring that her name and spirit would be passed down to the next generation. Then, in 2021, Harry and Meghan Markle's daughter, Princess Lilibet Diana Mountbatten-Windsor, was born, further solidifying Diana's enduring presence in the royal family. These personal tributes are a testament to how her memory is cherished, and how her values of kindness, compassion, and charity continue to shape the lives of her family and the world around her. Through these acts, Princess Diana's legacy remains not just in the history of the British royal family, but also in the hearts of millions who continue to be inspired by her life and the changes she made in the world. Her spirit of love, compassion, and social consciousness has lived on through her sons, her grandchildren, and the charitable causes she left behind, ensuring that her impact will never be forgotten. What do you think? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.